Yao Ming is not just tall in stature. One of the NBA's top-performing basketball players, the 2.29-metre Miracle, also represented China at 2 Olympic Games. A basketball icon, he's become an idol to China's youth, a charity ambassador and also a political advisor. He's one of China's most famous figures, at home and abroad. Yao's success in some ways mirrors the massive transformation China has undergone over the past 30-odd years. Born in 1980, some would argue his life has mimicked the trajectory of China's rise. A reform baby, Yao is the first to admit he, like many born during this time, shared many of his first times with the rest of China.
I remember clearly being very young, and the first color television we bought was called Golden Star. I got my first Casio electronic watch. Back then, people were very curious about Japanese watches.
The late 1980s saw an explosion of foreign fast food chains making their way onto the Chinese mainland.
The first time I had KFC, I remember my mother and I waited in line for over 2 hours. It was 1990, I think.
In the early 1990s, China's economy continued to experience double-digit growth, fertile markets presenting many Chinese with career opportunities, including Yao.
I was 15 in that year. There were rules that you had to be 16 to become a professional player. But I was 15. I was an exception, but I was nearly 16 actually. For some reason, my first salary was given 3 months later. It was 832 yuan.
Sport was also under the reform microscope in China. In 1995, the Chinese Basketball Association introduced the home and away system into its league, allowing Chinese players to train with and even join teams abroad. The reforms turned basketball in China into a fully fledged professional sport with sponsors and a solid fan base. Yao was one of the lucky ones. Aged 21, he was selected by the Houston Rockets in the 2002 NBA draft. He spent the next 10 years playing in the NBA. Yao has appointed himself an ambassador on behalf of up-and-coming Chinese basketballers, many eager to play abroad.
Instead of keeping our athletes by force, we should try to create a better platform for them. In that way, they'll be more willing to get involved. Their ability and techniques can also be improved.
In July 2011, Yao announced his retirement from professional basketball after a series of foot and ankle injuries. Reflecting on his own life so far, Yao is also candid on how he sees the impact of China's decades of reform.
I think the key point is that we've actually realized what our problems are by reviewing the past 35 years. We must pay attention to continuity and sustainability. The decisions we make these days can benefit not only today's society, but also 35 years later.
And his predictions for the next 35 years?
By that time, I will be almost 70. I hope the air can be cleaner. I have the feeling that by then, our society will reflect people's expectations.